You know what's genuinely rare in this fan base? Consensus. Complete, overwhelming, nearly unanimous consensus. And this week, fans have found it. And it's about someone they absolutely do not want anywhere near the Bernabeu.
Rodrigo. Tio, the comments are something else. I've been going through them and it's not even a debate. It's a wall of no. Fans are not divided on this one. They are united in rejection and honestly, the passion behind it is kind of impressive.
One fan put it simply, neither as a player nor as a person. My modest opinion. And that framing of modest opinion is doing a lot of heavy lifting because there is nothing modest about the energy behind these comments.
Another fan said, and I love this, we don't want him even if he comes for free and earns €0. Zero, not a cent. Madre mia, that's how deep the feeling runs. This isn't a transfer negotiation debate, this is a value statement.
And the one that really jumped out at me had 31 upvotes, the highest engagement in the whole comment section, just flatly saying the majority of fans don't want him at Madrid. 31 upvotes on a fan comment is basically a standing ovation in YouTube terms.
What gets me is that this isn't about tactics or squad depth or transfer fees. Fans are making a character argument. It's personal. And when Real Madrid fans go personal like this, que barbaridad, it usually sticks.
It connects directly to the Vinicius thread too, because several fans in the comments linked the two. One fan said, he mocked Vini and that is unforgivable. He can go to Barca or Atleti. That's the ultimate Madrid exile sentence right there. Barca or Atleti. Pick your poison.
Vini forever. That's what another fan wrote. And honestly, after everything we covered last week with the derby, with the 2 goals, with the revenge arc completing itself, the fan base has drawn a very clear line. You're either with Vinicius or you're the enemy. There's no middle ground anymore.
Which is interesting because the Vinicius sentiment in the comments this week is actually pretty quiet. Only a handful of fans discussing him directly. It's like the derby closed that chapter emotionally, and now the energy has shifted to protecting that chapter from being reopened by unwelcome arrivals.
Vamos. Let's move because there's a tactical debate brewing that I want to get into. And it's one of those debates where I genuinely don't know which side I land on. Fans are arguing about the midfield problem, but they can't agree on who's causing it.
Right, and this is a genuinely interesting split. One camp is pointing at Mbappé. One fan wrote that the problem is Mbappé not helping in defensive tasks, and that in modern football, at any elite club, forwards press and cover. That's a legitimate tactical criticism.
But then there's the other camp, and this one actually surprised me, who are pointing at Bellingham. One fan said the real problem is Bellingham thinking he's a striker, always being out of position, and leaving a massive gap in midfield. That's a bold take, Tio.
What I find fascinating about this debate is that both fans are describing the same symptom. A gap in midfield, defensive exposure. But they're diagnosing completely different causes. And they're both partially right, which is what makes it so difficult to resolve.
Mbappé's defensive work rate is genuinely something fans have been grumbling about since he arrived. But blaming Bellingham for positioning issues when he's been one of our best players this season? That's a spicier take. The fan community is not letting him off the hook just because he's popular.
It tells you something about where this fan base is right now. They're not just celebrating the derby win and going quiet. They're already stress-testing the squad structure, asking hard questions. That's a sign of a fan base that genuinely believes this team can go all the way and wants to make sure the foundations are solid.
And then there's the Valverde angle. Because his name is in the comments this week too, though not for reasons related to his red card drama from last week. Fans are still riding the high of his international performances, but the conversation keeps getting pulled back to refereeing and corruption. Always the corruption.
Oh, we cannot avoid the corruption discourse. One fan wrote, and I'm translating this because the passion got very caps lock. Patience to all decent people who don't like corruption. All this corruption is close to ending. Patience, friends. With multiple exclamation marks. This person is a one-man motivational speech.
I love that fan. That is pure Madridismo, battered by the system, still standing, still believing justice is coming. But another fan was more sobering about it. They said the main problem with cleaning up the corruption is that you'd have to clean up the entire ecosystem. The federation, the referees committee, the sports ministry, journalists, the whole thing.
And that fan is not wrong. It's a structural problem, not a personnel problem. You can't just swap out one referee or one federation official and fix it. The fans who've been following Spanish football for decades understand this, and it shows in how cynical, but also how resilient the sentiment is.
One fan called it the dirty league of Barça Tebas Negrera, and honestly, that phrase has become almost a mantra in the comments. Another said the press is complicit, calling them garbage media and accomplices in corruption. The institutional distrust runs incredibly deep.
What's interesting is that even in this mood, this cynicism about the system, fans are still saying things like, hopefully Madrid wins the league and we celebrate like never before. The corruption discourse doesn't kill the hope. If anything, it makes winning feel more meaningful to them.
That's actually kind of beautiful in a chaotic way. The system is rigged and we're going to win anyway. That's the Real Madrid mindset, Tio. That's always been the Real Madrid mindset. Venga.
All right, the international break is winding down, the squad comes back together soon, and tomorrow's episode will be checking in on where the mood is as La Liga resumes. The Rodrigo debate will keep burning. The Bellingham positioning discourse will keep running, and the corruption conversation, well, that one's never going away.
And honestly, after everything this fan base has been through just in the last 2 weeks, the derby, the red card, the Vinny arc, now this transfer debate, I'm just glad we have a fan base that never shuts up. Hala Madrid. And we'll see you tomorrow morning.